5. The Warriors' Memorial Cemetery, located on the southwest side of the complex. The graves are also shaped like Egyptian obelisks. It is noteworthy that another city cemetery is adjacent to the memorial complex. 6. Now let's look at the complex from the Google map. This is what the memorial area looks like from a high altitude, the Eye of Horus. How often such an element is found in Soviet architecture? Now zoom in a little and see how the city cemetery and the monument to the fighters for Soviet power look on the map. In front of you is a flat pyramid. You don't believe in such coincidences either? Liberation Monument. So, where is the Eye of Horus looking? We draw a straight line in the direction of the gaze of the conditional pupil. So, at this point is the Liberation Monument, which was opened on August 22, 1969. Taking into account the palindrome, again we see the system 3 sixes, respectively, the system numbers. It seems that these two architectural objects form a single complex. Here again we see the familiar image of the woman, the defender, who is obviously more majestic and powerful than the warrior, who is next to her behind. Once again we see the prototype of the Egyptian obelisk. What about the water surface? Directly opposite this monument, there was the National Hotel with two adjacent fountains. The water surface acts as a mirror, creating a portal to contain the necrotic energy. Everything is like in the rituals with a real mirror. However, this building is now abandoned and is a haven for homeless people and drug addicts. It is also unclear why this breeding ground for marginals and disease has not yet been demolished. Additional psi-energy harvesting? There is also the assumption that since the fountains themselves have ceased to function, the energy circuit of the memorial complex and the monument has been broken. So we go back to the first architectural ensemble to familiarize ourselves with the new object. Bull sculpture. In the autumn of 2022, 2 + 2 + 2 is equal to 6, on Halipa Street, House 6, again a system number, directly opposite to the already mentioned above memorial complex, Eternity, the sculpture of the bull was established. Immediately catching the eye is an unusually inscribed pyramid in the overall composition. We draw an analogy with the cult of worship of Moloch, the avatar of the demon Baal. And it was in the middle of the construction that children were placed for sacrifice. If we consider that because the National Hotel, which was opposite the Liberation Monument, ceased to function, the fountains also stopped working, then an important component of the chain of architectural necrotic ensembles was broken. Have the adherents of the system reinforced the old memorial through the installation of a newfound Moloch? I'm afraid this fact is also hard to write off as coincidence. And so the voluminous necrotic Hava collection system closed. However, I have a few more examples in my collection. A memorial to the soldiers who fell in the Afghan war. At the entrance to the square, we are greeted by a sculpture of a grieving mother, flanked by outstretched shrubs. Recall the information from the video about the combination of the two opposing forces of the two columns of Jachin and Boaz, which produce the central column, the perfect man. Doesn't it remind you of anything? Find 10 differences. Behind the first symbolic composition are white pylons. Their general appearance also has a pyramidal shape. The height of the monument is 15 meters, 1 + 5 is equal to 6, again a systematic number. Also around the memorial spreads a cascade of fountains, in the role of the obligatory water mirror. Behind the fountains is a playground, also as one of the obligatory elements of the system objects. Children's psi-energy as an additional source of power. And this monumental ensemble is completed with a residential complex called Colosseum. Everyone knows that Rome, and especially the Vatican, holds some of the most significant secrets associated not only with the true history of mankind, but also with other extraterrestrial civilizations. As long as the Colosseum stands, Rome will stand, but if the Colosseum falls, Rome will fall, and if Rome falls, the whole world falls. Prophecy of the English monk Bede the Venerable. A monument to blood donors. Another unusual monument is the monument to blood donors. We turn to the fourth Saturn video in this series. The monument is in the form of a cube, and as we remember, this is the symbol of Saturn, to whom, in ancient times, blood sacrifices were made. The inscription reads, "Hope for life." Gratitude to organ donors and their families. The question is, whose lives are you thanking for? Are those only officially saved human lives? Train of Pain. On July 26, 2013, 2 + 1 + 3 is equal to 6, a system number. A monument to victims of Stalinist repression was installed in Railroad Station Square. It also bears the name Train of Pain. The composition consists of densely crowded people whose column visually resembles a train. The necrotic energy of this place is amplified by the usual fountain built behind the monument. The War Cemetery, Cemetery of Heroes. The now abolished cemetery where soldiers of different nationalities who died in the First World War were buried. Now only stone pillars remain of the cemetery and chapel. Remarkable is again 2 columns separating the world of the living and the dead. Republican Center for Children and Youth. Architecturally recognizable object. It is located at Stefan Cell Mayor 169, another combination of system numbers. No wonder that in such a building children's psi energy flows and concentrates uninterruptedly. The new year is 2023. I don't think you need to comment here. Look around you, look carefully at the streets, squares, and monuments you are already familiar with. Do you know your community so well? Now do you understand that our role is to be batteries for their system? But is there a way beyond the illusory matrix? Are we created to be fuel, or do we have the right to exist on our own? Sacrifice is a form of religious worship that exists to some degree in most religions. It has the purpose of establishing or strengthening the connection of a person or community with the gods, or other supernatural beings by offering them items of real or symbolic value for the donor.